Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam Wolf, and today I've got a very different video for you guys. I have actually been wanting to do videos like this for a long time. If you've been following the channel long enough, you know that I've actually done a video like this before where we compare graphics presets and just a graphic comparison between a game and itself. So like the very first video I did was for State of Decay 1, where you had the original plus the year 1 survival edition or something like that. And it actually, I mean, it did fairly well for, you know, my channel size, but I actually enjoyed doing that. The difference is, of course, that one did not have any voiceover, didn't have any commentary. I just kind of put the two together and let it play out to show the differences in graphics. However, with the prevalence of different modes now actually existing on consoles, I kind of want to do a graphics versus performance comparison. So this is my very first attempt at that, and we're doing Final Fantasy XVI demo graphics versus performance, or GVP. And I, of course, I want to make this very clear. I do not have the talent that Digital Foundry has, so just be on the lookout for their results later on. I don't know if they'll do the demo. They'll more than likely do the game, as the game is out in 5 days, something like that, the 22nd. So, you know, I probably won't be getting, getting into depth as much as they will. I'm not really good. I don't know how to do resolution counting or something like that, or pixel counting. So, you know, I'm just going based on what I see. So, you know, wait for their results, but here are my initial thoughts on what's going on here. And do keep in mind, this is a demo, so it's more likely early code and is not representative of the final product. So much so that Yoshi P himself said this may not even need a day one patch. Or will not. No, I don't think he even said speculative. He literally said this will not need a day one patch, which is crazy. And also keep in mind that this is only the first 40 minutes of the demo, because I did not go into too far into the demo. I didn't want to spoil too much for myself or anybody else who may be looking at this video here. Obviously, you're just hearing me and some music. You're not actually hearing anything from the game. So we've got the graphics on the left and the performance on the right. This video is out at a higher resolution than normally I would put it out at. So we're looking at 1440p here, 60 FPS is the video, because I don't truly believe you would have been able to see the difference with the games between the modes, just because that 1080p, it won't look good. You won't be able to see the difference between graphics and performance, in my opinion. So I boosted it up to 1440p so that you guys could see the maybe minor differences for some people, but very clear differences for people like myself and guys at Digital Foundry who can see this stuff. But to cover the graphics mode real quick, obviously we're looking at a much higher resolution, a little bit higher graphic fidelity in terms of like texture resolution and stuff like that. I think even shadow resolution might even be a little bit higher. If I was to guess, the graphics mode probably has a 4K upscaled, probably maybe an internal resolution of 1440p, and it's upscaled to 4K. I don't know because I have a 1080p monitor, but I'm telling you right now, it is so much clearer on the even on my monitor. It's cleaner, it's sharper. It just looks better. 30 FPS cap, of course. However, that doesn't come with a massive input lag hit on your controller like you would normally get with a 30 FPS cap if it's not done right. And as I mentioned, shadow resolution seems pretty high, though some contact shadows are a bit on the jagged side. So like self-casting shadows, when light hits a character and the character's shadow casts on like their body armor or something like that, it can look a little jagged depending on the character and what they're wearing. And I want to just point this out. You guys are probably seeing some, if not mostly, cutscenes here. I just have this for background. I'm sad to say, I guess for the most part, but though I personally think this is a good way to go about it. The cutscenes are all pre-rendered. There's no doubt about it. They only play at 30 FPS, and they both look exactly the same. So they definitely decided to go that route of making sure they're pre-rendered so that the experience for the story and the cutscenes is the same for everybody involved, which is great in my opinion. Some of you might find that very upsetting that there's no difference, but that right there at least covers consistency, so that everybody, no matter what mode they play, is getting the same experience with the story. Now, performance mode, I think, takes quite a bit of hit, and I'm gonna show you right here this first example where I'm standing over a cliff and I look out into the distance, and if you really kind of take a look, and I'll probably zoom in here, the difference in resolution is just staggering. I could not believe how low the performance mode goes. I would go so far as to either it's lower than 1080p because it looked awful even on my monitor, or, and I say even on my monitor, but it's a 1080p monitor, so you expect a 1080p image, but it looks lower than that. So it's either they went lower than 1080p, or their upscaler / anti-aliasing attempt is far too strong. Far too strong. It doesn't look right to me. And you'll see that a little bit later when I show off a little bit of the combat during the tutorial mission, or tutorial training, or training mission, whatever you want to call it. It attempts at a 60 FPS as performance mode. You would think that that's the point of it. But it doesn't seem to even reach that, even during very minor combat scenarios like the training mission where you're fighting or you're practicing against your trainer. It really is kind of surprising, to say the least, and Yoshi P said himself that it would not need a day one patch. But if the performance mode is not going to be able to even reach 60 FPS, even in the most very minor effects in combat scenarios, then we might not even bother playing performance mode. I personally am not going to. I think it might be fixed, but again, like I said, it is a demo, so it could be early code, and they might have already kind of ironed this out. I trust that maybe they did, but, who knows. The shadow map resolution, like I had mentioned for the graphics mode, the contact shadows in some cases look even worse. They look jagged, just like so the graphics mode in some cases. So it's, but I think it's dependent on the character. It definitely seems like they do look a little worse for the wear. And that goes to for the texture resolution as well. The texture resolution takes a massive hit in performance mode, but again, these are the sacrifices that they have to make in order to achieve a higher performance. I would say the performance probably sits around between 30 and 45 maybe FPS. I don't know. I don't have the tools to measure this, so I'm just taking a wild guess based on what I saw, but it doesn't look great. And like I said, even the tutorial mission or the training mission struggles to hit the target frame rate, which is 60 FPS. It's just an unlocked frame rate, and it doesn't even reach it. Not even close. And there's not really a whole lot going on in that training mission. So, and that's with a huge hit to resolution. So it just doesn't look great. So I personally am not going to be playing the performance mode. I'll be sticking to the graphics mode just because it'll look better. It does look better. So the sad thing to say is that performance mode is not looking great. So, as you can see, like I'm showing off right here, I'm gonna interject some training mission, tutorial mission, combat here to show the differences in the contact shadows and stuff. But, overall, I mean, you can see that I think even the untrained eye, okay, and mine's lightly trained, even the untrained eye can see that there is no 60 FPS here. It's very rarely even touching it, if at all. So in favor of consistency, personally for me, I'm going to stick with the 30 FPS mode, the graphics mode, just because it looks better, it runs really well, and it's more consistent. And that's what we want. The frame pacing of the performance mode is just too much of a hit to want to play that mode on the regular basis. You know, you have some moments at the beginning of the demo where you're running through the canyon, and it does look good. You know, it looks like it pretty much hangs around 60. But as soon as anything really kind of, hits the like alpha effects or something like that, smoke, bright lights, whatever, or particle effects, it will slow down, and that's a bit unfortunate. But you know, they might have fixed it. Who knows? All I know is what I've played in the demo, and well, what you see is what you get. I'm going to be sticking with the graphics mode. I don't know about you guys, but, let me know what you thought of this comparison in the comments down below. I feel like I had more to talk about here, but that's pretty much the gist of it. You know, its performance mode is not looking good. I did want to talk about the motion blur real quick. Bit strong. That's the one benefit of turning on performance mode, is that, as you can see here, there is a very strong, they have camera motion blur, I believe, and I believe they have per object motion blur, because as you can see, as I turn the camera here, look at the pommel and the hit, like I would say, maybe not the hilt, but like the pommel of his sword, even outlining himself, the character, very strong on the graphics mode. Whereas the performance mode, of course, is doubling, or allegedly doubling, the frame rate, so it's a little bit less prominent and pronounced, but it's very distracting, and I don't know if it was implemented correctly. That may not even be the motion blur, that could be maybe the anti-aliasing that they're using, which is more than likely temporal anti-aliasing. I did see some ghosting as I was playing, but it was a little less so than most other games that have TAA implemented, but it's a bit distracting, and that might be the worst thing about playing on graphics mode. It's just the motion blur is a bit strong. I personally do like motion blur, and for the most part it's okay, but the per object motion blur, I'm assuming, is what they have in here. It's very distracting, and so it's kind of hard to unsee it once you see it. So sorry for anybody who actually sees it. So yeah, that was the last thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be playing on graphics mode. Can't wait till this game comes out on the 22nd. But let me know what you guys think of videos like this. I'm really excited, and I will be making a Lies of P video on just like this, kind of comparing the different modes. That one has 4 modes, so that's gonna be a little bit. I'm gonna have to do some recording, and of course I need some the demo is only gonna be available until like the 26th, so I gotta get on that one. But the game's not coming out until, I think, September, so I got some time to work on that one. This one I wanted to get out because the game's coming out very, very soon, on June 22nd. That's my side-by-side comparison of graphics and performance. My recommendation is stick to graphics mode. I think you'll have a much better experience overall. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and please join me again in the next one, where we compare Lies of P and all its different modes in the demo. Again, demo, so possibly old code. Just be prepared for that. And that should be coming out very soon, hopefully soon, once I get this one out the door. But until then, I'm Adam Wolf. This is Final Fantasy XVI Demo, and I'll see you guys later.